Imagine walking into a marketplace, not to buy fruit, not to buy bread, but to buy a person. In ancient Rome, human lives were tagged with prices, displayed like livestock, and auctioned off to the highest bidder. So tonight, we're diving into a system so brutally casual, it makes modern job interviews look merciful. But just how much did a Roman slave cost? And what decided their price? Strength, beauty, brains, or something much darker? The Roman slave market was the beating heart of an empire built on exploitation. Men, women, and children stood in open plazas, chained and displayed. Auctioneers shouted prices. Buyers inspected teeth, muscles, even scars, like checking merchandise. Think of it as the world's most disturbing shopping mall, except the products could breathe. Slaves wore placards around their necks listing skills, flaws, and health conditions. Biting, laziness, even political opinions, all became part of the sales pitch. If you were an average Roman citizen, not a senator, not a general, you might look for the simplest model, an unskilled laborer. The price? About 1,500 to 2,000 sesterces. That's nearly 2 years' salary for a Roman soldier, for one human being. These men worked farms, built aqueducts, or dug in mines, the empire's most brutal workplaces, where life expectancy ticked down like a clock. But if you had money to spare, Rome offered upgrades. Educated Greeks, musicians, physicians, even accountants. A slave who could play the lyre and do your taxes might cost 10,000 to 100,000 sesterces. In other words, the smarter you were, the higher your price tag. Voiceover. In Rome, beauty was more than skin deep, it was expensive. Attractive slaves could sell for the price of an estate. Their role? Cupbearers, attendants, companions, the ultimate symbol of wealth. Forget luxury cars. In Rome, showing off meant owning a beautiful human being. Then came the celebrity class, gladiators. These men, and sometimes women, were investments, entertainers, and walking revenue streams. A famous fighter could cost 100,000 sesterces or more. Their six-packs weren't just for show. They were an empire's multi-million-dollar business. Children were the budget option. Some sold for as little as 500 sesterces, cheaper than a dinner party. Many were raised inside households, molded into loyal servants. And then, there were eunuchs. Boys castrated young, sold as attendants for noble women or singers in temples. Pain turned into profit, trauma into a luxury price tag. Wars flooded the market. After battles, tens of thousands of captives were sold in bulk. Prices crashed so low you could buy a slave for less than a decent tunic. For Rome, war wasn't just conquest, it was a clearance sale. But there was one escape route: money. Slaves could sometimes save wages in a fund called peculium. With enough, they could buy freedom. Freedmen could even become rich themselves, though society never let them forget where they came from. In Rome, human lives were commodities, priced, taxed, and sold. From farmhands to philosophers, from children to gladiators, every person had a price, except their freedom. So the next time you hear about the glory of Rome, remember, its empire was built on human backs, and bought with human coins.